Hey everyone, it's Peck here. Today I want to show you one of the strongest, most popular and honestly most toxic builds in the high rank arena of where wins meet. It's a setup that mixes dual blades with a strategic sword, giving you incredible mobility to start fights and letting you lock enemies into a ridiculously long combo that can almost kill them in one go. It's insanely strong, and yeah, I feel a bit bad about making this video, because after this a lot of people are going to start running it in the arena, and players are definitely going to rage, but hey, you've been warned. We'll go through how to play the build, the full rotation, the gear, internal arts, mystic arts and everything else as we go. The timestamps are in the description if you need them, and also I'll be making a full PvP mystic arts guide later on, so keep an eye out for that. For now, let's jump in. The most important thing to understand about this build is the rotation. Once you have landed the very first hit, the enemy cannot escape unless they have Serene Breeze, which is a mystic art that breaks any combo, but has a long 40-second cooldown. If they don't have it available, they're stuck and you can take almost the entire health bar in one go. You always want to open with the Twinblades as long as you have charges of your skill. The best way to play is to start patience and wait for your opponent to make a mistake. When you see an opening, use your gap closing spinning slash to dive towards them. If they block, you can just back off, or maybe use a counter with some of the mystic arts that I'll talk about later, but if they don't block and they take the hit, the full combo begins and they're not getting out of it. The opening sequence is simple. You engage with a rotating slash, hit them with a string of 4 basic attacks, then repeat the skill and 4 basic attacks more, repeat the skill, 4 basic attacks more. Now your skill is on cooldown, so we want to use the attack that we swap to our strategic sword, and now we will use the special skill of the strategic sword that will hit many times applying bleed, and now we activate it again to stab the blade on the floor and hit again, detonating those bleeds. Now we want to use our backstep slashing skill. You can choose to recast it to dash forward again or simply stay safe at a distance. That's the natural ending of the combo. Depending on the ping, the enemy may or may not be able to block this last hit, but that's where wins meet for you, a game with huge ping that makes a ton of difference. If you're running Free Morph, the mystic art, the combo becomes even better, as long as you have enough vitality to cast it. The beginning with the Twin Blades is exactly the same. Dive in for basic attacks. Use your skill for basic attacks. Once you don't have cooldowns, we switch to the strategic sword, use its skill, but here we will use it only one time, because now we will use Free Morph directly, which will connect 100% of the time, deal huge damage and will also probably stun the enemy. From here on, we will probably execute him, and then we will do the backstep slash that will detonate the bleeds we just put on the enemy. And that way now you're at a safe distance and the enemy is almost dead. These are basically your two main ways of running the rotation, and Free Morph is the strongest one of the two, so I highly recommend this mystic art. A great way of initiating fights with the Twin Blades at a long distance is using the jump attack from one of the mystic arts. You don't want to throw it out randomly because it can be blocked, but if you use it reactively when you see the enemy doing an action, most players won't be able to block in time, and if it lands you go straight into your Twin Blades dive to start your full rotation. Ping sometimes plays a role, but in most cases it's a very reliable opener. By the time you finish one full combo, your Infernal Flame bar on the dual blades will usually be full. This mode gives you more damage, more mobility, and most importantly, complete super armor. You can't be interrupted. The moment you activate it, players panic and start running away. This is why you should wait until you have at least one charge of your skill ready before entering the mode. Once you do, dive at them again, land the hit and go wild. Use your hits and within your skills whenever you can, and if the dual blade skill is not available, swap to the strategic sword and continue the pressure. There are a few mystic arts that I consider mandatory for this build. Free Morph is one of them because of how much extra damage and stagger it adds to the main combo. Also, Serene Breeze is the other must-have. Even though its cooldown is 40 seconds, being able to break out of any stun and interrupt your opponent with a shockwave is incredibly strong. It flips entire fights, and because almost everyone in the arena uses it, you need a plan for dealing with it as well. A great strategy is to bait by breaking out of their combo with Serene Breeze, tagging them once and then dodging away. Many players will panic and activate their own Serene Breeze immediately, wasting it. Once that happens, you're the one with the advantage. The remaining mystic arts depend on your style, but there are several great options for this build. One of them is Wolf-like Frenzy, the Bamboo Flurry where you dash forward and heal multiple times before sending an enemy airborne. It gives you hyper armor during the animation, so it's amazing against aggressive players. You can also cancel it with parry if you see them trying to parry your hits. Another very good option is Falcon Strike, a short flurry of blows that knocks the enemy down even through block and can't be parried. It's incredibly useful against players who just sit there blocking or trying to parry everything. There's also the Flame Breeze, where you drink a potion and breathe fire. The animation is slow, but the moment you've drunk the potion, you carry a 30-second buffs that lets you cast the flames instantly the next time. The fire damage over time is very strong, and it also has crazy hyper armor, and again, you can cancel the drinking animation with parry to stay safe. A lot of players open the match by drinking the potion and cancelling it immediately with parry, so they keep the buff ready for their next breath will be instant. On the second page of Mystic Arts, I normally put tools for range pressure, like the little range strike that lets you chip away your opponents from far away, and also the long distance jump I mentioned earlier. For inner arts, there are a few that fit this build perfectly. The Strategic Sword inner art is essential, because it lets you recast your skills for extra follow-ups. The Twinblades inner arts is also extremely important, since it lowers the enemy's defense the more you attack, and it also improves your damage. Moral Chant is another great internal art, since it raises your penetration and attack, and works on every weapon. The last lot is flexible. I personally like the Spear internal art, because the stamina reduction feels good, but this kind of bow internal art also works well, because it raises your precision and crit damage. I've played a lot with this build, so basically here you have most of the secrets you will want to know. I leave you here some Twinblade between blade action, so you can see can I play it, and also because it helps you reach the 8-minute mark in YouTube, which is very important. With that said, hope you enjoy guys, and see you in the next one.
No.